Hello, you beautiful souls. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Michelle. We talk all things life, love, spirituality, law of attraction, and all of that juicy goodness. I am fresh out of a meditation outside on my deck. I woke up really early this morning, around 6:15. Got outside, I think by 6:30, just sat there and was tuning into what I was feeling, what the energy was for the day, talking to my guides, talking to my angels, and the energy that I felt collectively was us being fed up with our routines, with our lives, just like, I can't do another day in my life. Even though your life is great and there's nothing really wrong with it, it's a feeling like, and this usually happens right before change comes, but it's a feeling like, oh, I just can't do it. Like, you don't want to look at the same things on your Instagram. You don't want to see the same people that you always see. You just want out of your reality. And that's okay. That feeling will pass, but it's usually happening to prepare you so that when the change comes in, you're open to it because you're already kind of annoyed and with your old life. So it's kind of like you get annoyed first so that when the change does come, that you jump onto it. And I also, this is going to be our midweek reading, but I also just felt called to do a divine feminine kind of coaching session. I want to share what I've been doing in my own life and what I've been doing in my sessions with my new clients that I have. I have a couple new clients who signed up for me to mentor. And it is so beautiful to watch them grow and expand. And I know that I'm being put through the, I don't know what you want to call it, but I'm going through it just like them. So I'm learning as I'm going, and then I'm teaching them as I'm going. So it's kind of cool to see how the universe kind of brought this out of nowhere. I wasn't always doing this type of work. So let's first pull some cards for all of us for the week. And then I'll go into, if you guys want to stick around, I'm going to go into teaching the divine feminines how to hook your divine masculine, how to attract them back into your life. And it doesn't have to be divine feminine. It could be anybody trying to call somebody really loving into their life. But I'm going to be honest, and you might not like what I say, but you're going to want to stick around because these teachings have transformed my clients' lives and it's transformed my life. I feel like a completely different woman in such an awesome, magnificent, beautiful way. And I'm just so proud of myself. And that's one of the things that I sat in meditation with today was I almost started crying because I'm like, I freaking love that I'm this woman now that you can't come and just walk all over, or I know how to behave in the moment to not allow somebody just to come in and use me. And it took a lot of being used to understand this, and even going back into it and dipping my toe back into it for a little bit and being like, man, Michelle, you're learning this, but you're still doing it. And that's what I'm going to teach, is because it has to integrate into your body. You have to fully feel into that person that is strong enough to set a boundary. Okay. So let's start with an animal card. And I also just heard, for a relationship reading, before we start, we're going to see what your special person wants to tell you. What does your special person want to tell you? I just heard your special person is watching you and they're seeing you grow and they're being I want to be more than friends. Yeah. They're watching you and they're seeing you expand and grow, and they're like, damn, she's doing amazing, or he's doing amazing. And they're almost so intimidated by you that they might be scared to come forward. Later in the reading, I'm going to talk about how like the things divine feminine can do that will cut off communication with her divine masculine, which will make him wonder, where did she go? Like, what is she doing? I don't know. And they'll fear losing you. And that's what drives them to you. So we'll talk more about that later. All right, what does your person want to tell you? It's time for me to heal now. I wish I could share my good news with you. All right. So the time that you guys have spent apart They've been healing, you've been healing. When one person is healing, both people are healing. And when I say healing, I just mean you're falling more into who you really came here to be. You're becoming more you. And we have to take off layers and pain and suffering and patterns. Patterns is a huge thing that our whole collective society needs to unlearn. The toxicity of jealousy, fearing abandonment. I had a girl last night DMing me. She was a graduate of mine. And she messaged me like while I was working on a Zoom with a client. And she was like, hey, can I vent to you for a little bit? And it was like 4 hours later, I responded. I was like, sorry, I was working. Yeah, sure, I have some space. And she's like having panic attacks. And her fiance left her. I think it was a couple years ago or maybe a year and a half ago. I don't remember. But her fiance like broke it off and left her. And she's dealing with this fear that she's going to be alone forever and it's going to happen again. And she works in a hospital setting and she's like such a good person and she's so lovely and she's having panic attacks every day. And it's not even happening. But her mind is creating the story that she did something wrong. And what's really happening is the fear of abandonment and that pain and that suffering of feeling so rejected and so neglected is coming up for her right now. And it's surfacing in her body as these panicked moments, like she's going to die if it happens again. So I was coaching her to see that, like, where in her childhood was she neglected and was she abandoned? Or maybe it was a past life. And it right now, it's time for the healing. So people are going through these surge moments of anxiety and out of nowhere they feel like they're going to throw up, or it's because your body remembers the pain of what happened to you and it's needing to get rid of it. So we have to let the body do what it does. And the first thing I asked her was, you know, have you been crying? Because crying releases the excess energy in our body. So if you're listening right now, and if you're not capable of having a strong, resilient heart to walk away from somebody, regardless of who they are, to say, I need to step away from this relationship and from you to work on myself a little bit. If you don't have the strength to do that because you fear losing that person, then you still have a fear of abandonment inside of you. And that's part of what I'm going to teach with the divine feminines is we have to be okay sitting back and knowing that we can walk away from anybody and be fine on our own. And I truly think that that's my mission is I've been single all this time, dating, interacting with certain people, attracting unavailable people so that I could learn this, that I'm learning that I'm completely fine on my own. And if you're disrupting my peace, I'm not allowing you in. I'm only allowing a man in who's going to nurture my peace, who's going to see me meditating and come up and kiss my neck and say, keep going, you know, or it just there, I don't have any space for somebody disrupting my peace. And if somebody who I'm dating is disrupting my peace, I have no qualms with walking away and saying, like, sorry, I can't do this, you know, or just opening up the conversation to say what is on my mind. And I'm willing to walk away. I've gotten to that space where I'm okay with just being like, see ya, you disrupt me. Nope. I love myself so much that I am not going to sit in something that doesn't feel good. If you are stuck on a loop with somebody and it doesn't feel good, you have to walk away. That is your lesson. And with my graduate who was really suffering and really dealing with these panic attacks, I was trying to teach her that she has to grieve what happened to her in the past. She has to fully grieve her fiance leaving her. Like that is painful, but her soul had that experience to heal, to finally heal this abandonment wound. And it is not easy. I definitely have a strong abandonment wound. We all do. I've always had this thing where every guy I've dated, I've found another woman who I think he'd be better with. And I create a story in my head, was like, oh, he probably is going to end up with her. Because I'm literally, it's like God is giving me a gift and I'm passing it off to somebody else because I don't think I'm worthy of it. or I think I'll mess it up, or I don't want the commitment. I don't want, it's scary to be in love, because in my childhood, my dad was kind of distant. He was an emotionally unavailable man. He was there if I messaged him, but he would never reach out to me. So, and he was very secretive and he was quiet, and you kind of didn't know what he was thinking all the time. He would do the silent treatment with my mom. If she was bothering him, and that drove her bonkers because she's such a masculine energy, like, tell me everything I need to know, like she's a doer. And then my mom was an aggressive type of woman. So it was like you had to walk on eggshells around her. So for me, there was no safe love. With my dad, it wasn't safe because I never knew what I was going to get. Like, was he going to be quiet that day? Was he going to love me that day? And with my mom, it was like a bull in a china shop. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is not safe. So I don't want to even entertain love right now because it doesn't feel safe to me. So it's almost like I push it away. So I'm still unlearning all of this. But anyway, the healing that occurs when you're having panic attacks, when you're fearing somebody leaving you, or you're single and you're consistently waiting for somebody to come back to you, you're in that, you've manifested this scenario so that you can know that you're okay on your own, and you're learning your divine feminine strength of, I'm not just going to give the keys to my house to somebody just because they say they like my house. So somebody says they like your house, you're not just going to give them the keys and let them come in and do whatever they want in your house. That's kind of like your body and your energy. Just because somebody says they like you and they're breadcrumbing you, they give you one text that says you're really pretty, and you're like, oh my God, they're my person. They have to work to get into your house. They have to nurture you. They have to show up consistently. They have to honor you. They have to do whatever would light your heart up. They have to be doing those things consistently in order to come into your home. And that's the resilience that I want to teach. And the healing that has to happen is, we can't be so fragile. We can't be so worried that it's going to happen again and somebody's going to leave us. We have to be in the standpoint of, I get to choose. There are billions of men, millions, I don't know how many men on the planet, but we get to choose. We are not bound by one person because we think there's this chemistry with them. Yes, it might be somebody who you attracted for healing and for growth, and you might end up with them in 5 years or a year, whatever. But until then, you're not going to sit around and cry every day that they're not here. You are going to be resilient, and you're going to be strong, and you're going to get on your mission. You're going to be doing what you're supposed to be doing, and you're not going to let somebody disturb your peace, because this is your life. And when your soul transitions, you're literally going to want to say, I am so glad that I didn't let anybody disturb my peace and my mission. Okay, here we go. Let's keep going. So I wish I could share my good news with you. I want to be more than friends. And it's time for me to heal now. Another thing about divine masculine energy and what really calls them back in is they want peace, just like we want peace. We don't want someone disturbing our peace. All humans want a peaceful, safe space to be with somebody where you can be all of you and not be judged, not be criticized. You can mess up, you can do things, and people aren't going to be on your energy, taking from you or judging you. So if you can learn how to be that for your partner, like, what does a safe space look like? Drop in the comments right now. Like, what does a safe space look like for you? What does your partner need to do to make you feel super, super safe? I know for me, he needs to be asking about my day. He needs to be listening when I respond, and not, there's this one guy that I talked to a couple months ago. And he was talking about his girlfriend and how every time he would talk to her, like, he would be opening up to share his feelings, and that was hard for him to do. She would hop on her phone and like check the time. She wasn't even texting somebody. She was just distracted, checking the time, looking to see if there's a notification. And he was like, Michelle, he's like, she literally gets on her phone when I'm about to open up. And I was like, you have a choice, bud. I'm like, do you want to be with somebody like that who's not literally able to sit still and listen? We have choices. So I totally lost my train of thought of why I brought up that story. It just blew out of my mind. Crap. Sorry, guys. Oh, disturbing. Okay, so what is a safe space? When I ask you guys to comment below, you have to identify what it is you want to experience with a partner. And then you have to write it down and remember it and set a boundary and only allow that in. If you're allowing other things in, that's not, you're on that pattern again. You're doing what you experienced in childhood. So I just, sorry, when I was just saying that and stumbled across my words, I just thought of like two of my friends who are in these situations where they're waiting on men and they're being breadcrumbed and they're like hanging on their every word. And they're like, oh, he texted me once this week. And they're like excited about it. And I'm like, oh, I just want to like, I get so angry. I'm like, that is not okay. Like, a man, if you're going to be entertaining, if you're this beautiful, smart, loving, nurturing woman, you deserve a man like literally not begging you, but coming to you and being like, I want more of you. Like, share more of who you are. Like, what did you like to do as a kid? What do you aspire to be in this world? Like, those are kinds of questions a man should be asking you. And if they're not, I don't want to say that they're, because not all men are very articulate. A lot of men struggle to express because of how they grew up. But you're going to know the energy behind their eyes or their body language or their actions. If somebody's coming to do something for you, that's their way of loving you. You're going to feel that. But if that's not consistent and you're just getting a text, a one-line text once a week, that is not what you need to be working with. We are not spending our energy listening and waiting and thinking that that is what we're going to end up with. We need to raise our standard and say, no, there's so many awakened men who are doing the work and they have a self-care routine and they love themselves and they want to provide for their families and for you or for their children or whatever the situation is. Of course, we get the divine masculine card, the stag. Anytime you guys see a stag, that's the symbolism for the divine masculine. It says, take the lead. So when you set a boundary and you know your worth and you don't settle for the people in your life who are breadcrumbing you, that's when a real masculine comes in. And he is perked up and he's like, I see her and I love her boundaries and she'll keep me in line and she's going to encourage me to grow. That's the kind of woman I want. You're not bowing down to a man. You're not cooking him meals. You're learning the art of like a healthy, balanced relationship where you both want to do that for each other. But ironically, he's going to do that more for you because you're in a receptive feminine mode. He's in his masculine. A masculine wants to do those things for you. Okay, moth spirit, cow spirit. The cow says miracles are endless. So when you step into this feminine energy that I'm talking about and you do what I call the lean back, you lean back and you allow a man to come to you, whether it's a new man, a man from your past. You are not chasing, you are leaning back. And when he comes to you, you're still going to lean back and you're going to be the safe space for yourself and then for him. And a safe space looks like less talking. You're not aggressive. You're not being vulgar. You're not saying everything that's on your mind. I used to be that person where I would tell everybody my feelings when I felt them because I just thought it was like very endearing and I thought it was, cute to really know what's on my mind. But we have to have a little mystery. You can't tell them everything. And that's kind of like abandoning yourself too. You're not keeping anything sacred between you and yourself. So keeping some of your feelings and thoughts to yourself, leaning back, letting him approach you with questions, with softness, you being the safe space and actually listening to him. You're responding with feeling statements. When he asks you how your day was, you're not talking about work. You're literally saying, oh, I felt so good today. The sun was on my skin. Or maybe you are talking about work and you're saying, I had this one client and we just had this great bond and it was awesome. And you're going with a feeling statement. Men want to be in your body. Men want to be like experiencing life the way that you do. They want to see your softness. They want to know what you do when nobody's watching. It's just this primal thing with men. And we're talking men and women now. If it's a same-sex partnership that you're in, this might not apply. But with masculine energy, with men, they have this yearning to like be interested in a soft, mysterious, loving, calm woman. So how do we get the divine feminines back into that natural state of being calm, being restful, being mysterious, but also you're not playing games. You're literally just owning who you are, and you're keeping your thoughts, your heart, your body sacred. You're keeping it to yourself. You're saying, I don't normally offer this up to everybody. It is a blessing if you get a piece of it, and I'm only going to share it in bits. And it makes it's like enticing. It makes the pull happen. And all of a sudden they start showing up with flowers because they want to like dig into you. They want to know you more because you're not throwing all your cards on the table at once, literally. So then we have the moth spirit, which is so funny because this is like a moth to a flame. You pull them in when you're in this lean back, soft energy. And when you say no to any vibrations that are disturbing your peace, no more. And it says surrender now. So this is red, this is fiery. And I just heard the divine masculine is surrendering to you because he knows that you offer that safe space for him. He knows that he can't go anywhere else and get his thirst quenched the way he does with you. Okay, let's do some Micah magic. I was planning on talking about all that at the end of the reading, but it's okay to mix it in, I guess. So I'm just gonna flow like I always do. I hope this is resonating for some of you and maybe showing you how much you're not in your feminine energy if you're a woman watching, and if you're a man watching, like if you're too much in your feminine, like men need to step up into that masculine energy to pursue, to protect, to provide. And the way you do that is you show up and you do things for your woman. You ask her what she needs, you pursue, and you're not too much in your emotions and complaining about your life. You're showing her that you're consistent. You're showing up when you say you're going to show up on time. I'm trying to think of, I just had two things that just jumped out of my mind that I was going to say. Maybe they'll come back. Free your mind. Go into your cave. When I see this card, I think of the feminine energy, pulling back, not chasing. Yep. So twins might be in their caves doing their healing right now. Trust the timing. They will reach out. I love how this tells a story. You're going to say yes when they reach out, as long as they're showing up in the stag energy, taking the lead. They're speaking with conviction. They're telling you how beautiful you are and that they would be honored to spend time with you. Make the change and you will feel amazing. This is you changing all of your old habits and patterns and stepping into this new energy of knowing your worth, figuring out what does a safe space look like to you. You're telling the universe no for any other vibrations that are ghosting you or not valuing you, and they're disturbing your peace. I just heard. Tell them how you feel now. Yeah, so when they come back in, you're going to express how you feel. You're not going to like talk about the weather. You're not going to talk about, I mean, you can talk about how you feel, like, oh, the sun feels so good on my skin. And because remember, with the masculine and feminine polarity, feminine sit back, they're very feely, they're very soft, they're warm, they're not trying to nurture, they're not trying to give, they're not trying to cook meals. You're not trying to win anybody over. You are pulling back and you're allowing the masculine to come to you. And the masculine is coming to you, asking you, how do you feel? How was your day? And he's testing that water. You're sitting in the water, right? And he's wondering what the temperature is like. He's like, is it safe to come into the water with her? And when it's not safe is when you're coming at him with a bunch of questions. He feels pressure. Yeah, you're just too much. You're texting long paragraphs. You're literally taking a breadcrumb. Like if he's asking you one question and you're like doting over him like he's the best man on the planet. He sees that and he's like, man, she doesn't value herself. This is all I have to do to get her. It's easy. And then that's when they leave because they're just like, they want to chase, they want to hunt, they want to know that they have a high value woman. So you have to show them when they're coming in to test that water, you have to be like, come on in, see what you're going to get. You're not telling them what's in the water. You're not telling them all about yourself. You're letting them kind of pull towards you slowly. And another thing about men is they love a long, it's called the slow burn. My mentor taught me this. The slow burn is, it's kind of like a football game or a baseball game, or they have a whole season. Men love that. They love the game of seeing what's going to happen next and having to wait a week to see what's going to happen next. So they got to wait a week until the next game, or they got to wait a couple days, or they got to wait a couple months to see what's going to unfold. How is this going to look? They feel the same way about partnership and about women, is they want it to last. So if you're somebody who's like all in, all at once, giving them everything you have the first week, it's kind of like, oh, that's it. Okay. Even though if you're amazing, it's still like, oh, I now know what this is like. Let me go move on to something else that I can chase or that I can pursue. And when I say chase, I don't mean like a toxic chase. I mean like a healthy pursue. I'll try to use pursue from now on. So we have to kind of give them, and this can last for 30 years. If you're in a marriage for 15 or 20 years, you can still create this polarity. And it takes the divine feminine to pull away, to go be busy, be mysterious, don't give all your cards up, kind of like, dress yourself up, make yourself look really good, do things around the house that make you feel good. And he will be drawn to that independent energy and he'll wonder, like, what is she doing? Where is she going? Is she going to meet somebody else? And he'll like start to pull towards you. But if he knows you're always here and he knows your same routine, he knows you wake up at 7 o'clock every single day, you're predictable. So in a healthy partnership, we have to have a little spice. You got to keep it juicy. You got to not be so predictable. And that's even with dating. If you're on a certain routine, they're knowing what your routine is. So break it up. Go on a trip somewhere. Go do things differently. Dress differently. Buy different things. This keeps your energy open and changing and you comfortable with change because you're expanding yourself. You're not just doing it for your partner, you're doing it for you. But that also makes the relationship dance because he's like, ooh, she's different now. And it's very unpredictable. I like this. I want more of that. So do you see how that energy is? A lot of people fear being in partnership because they hate the idea of it getting old and like, oh, this is just what happens. You get sick of it and it's just, this is what marriage is. It's boring. There's a lot of people in marriages that are still taking trips and they're still doing fun things together and they still have that moth to the flame energy. And it's because we have to create it within our energies. All partnership is all about energy. It's a polarity. It's the yin yang. It's the attraction. And when you're not pulling towards each other, it's because one person is on top of the other person's energy. And you got to be okay. Like I said in the beginning of this reading, you have to be okay walking away and saying, I don't need to know what they're doing. I'm going to go do my own thing for a little bit and infuse my soul with goodness and creativity and something that I've never done before. Maybe I'm going to go take a new class. When you take yourself and pull away and nurture yourself, that draws the connection. It draws more passion, more fire. And then in the union, like if you're here, he's here. And when you pull away, the fire in the middle gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then that's when you come together again. And then again, you're going to have to balance again. And I'm not saying you're going to like intentionally like leave the house and go nowhere and just drive around just to create space. You're always going to be doing it for your highest good. You're going to ask yourself, what does Michelle want to do today? Ooh, maybe I'll go to the beach today. And I'm not going to care what my partner's doing because I want to do what I want to do and I want to nurture myself. And also, I know that the separation time is healthy for both of us and it builds that fire. So, why not go do something like that? Because it helps me, helps the partnership, and it helps my partner have some space too, when maybe he wouldn't take the space on his own. So, you're also teaching them to have more independence as well. Because a lot of men don't know this about themselves. They might see themselves doing it, but they're not consciously aware of what they really desire. Because if he's not chasing you, then he's probably chasing somebody else. And I hate to say that, even if it's just somebody at work, or he's just always going to be looking to feed that desire to pursue and chase. So yeah, very interesting stuff that I'm learning. And I'm seeing it happen with my clients and how it's working. So that's why I wanted to start teaching about it. When I first started my YouTube channel, I always did morning messages and I always taught about the masculine and feminine energy. And then I kind of got away from it for a bit. Soul Tribe, the chameleon. It is safe to be seen. It's safe. I just heard that maybe your masculine fears being in partnership with you because you're such a light that they feel like they have to keep up with you. Or I also just heard that like maybe you guys have built a connection in hiding for some reason. Maybe it's not okay to be together. I know there's one client of mine, she met a guy at work and they're not supposed to date people they work with. So they've been seeing each other behind the scenes. And I feel like that message might be for her that it's safe to be seen. You're allowed to choose love, regardless of all these societal pressures to follow rules. You're allowed to be seen. It's okay. People might not like it, but that's kind of what we go through. We have to break the mold and say, no, I'm in love with somebody and I honor them and they honor me. Why can't we do this? This is healthy love. So remember, sometimes there's barriers. Sometimes there's things you have to jump through. There's hoops you got to jump through to be together. It's not always easy. And if you know anything about the twin flame dynamic, and I don't know if everybody's like into that, but I've been guiding twins for the last 5 years, and there's always an obstacle. Like you pick it as souls when you jump into these bodies and you incarnate into this lifetime. You're designed to meet at a certain point in your path. And you have to literally let go of society's conditioning and the pressures and people, places, and things in order to be together. So sometimes there might be a celebrity that, they meet their twin and their twin is not a celebrity. And that other person is like, oh my gosh, is it safe to be seen? I'm scared to date this person. Why are they choosing me? And it's because you're breaking the mold of the status. It doesn't matter if you're a celebrity, you're two humans that chose to incarnate to love during this time. And one person just happens to have this lifestyle. And that's where a lot of times you don't have the same mission. You're not doing the same work. And a lot of times twins are. They have kind of an alignment with each other. They're both made the same way to do the same thing, to put out. There's so many relationship coaches where it's a husband and wife. And she coaches the divine feminines and he coaches the divine masculines. And it's beautiful and they have the same mission. But in order to be together, normally you live far away from each other. One person has to you both have to find a way to be together. Usually different ethnic backgrounds. Usually somebody's married, they're already in a partnership, and that's the barrier. They have to get divorced or break up with somebody. Usually they work together and they have to break the mold of, kind of bursting through that kind of, what's the word? I can't think of the word. I can't think of it, but it's basically breaking the mold of what society says. So distance, when you work together and you're not supposed to be dating, somebody's already in a partnership. So there are all these wrong situations where the love seems wrong, but the love is so true and so real and you can't deny it in your body. And both twins are guided to be different and to break the mold and be together and choose love over, I cannot think of the word. You're choosing love over just what society says you're supposed to do. I don't know why I'm bonkers trying to figure that out. Okay. I just realized I didn't open sacred space. Oh my gosh. But I did this morning outside of my meditation. Okay, Six of Pentacles. This is going to be our final card for the reading since I already did all this relationship coaching. Six of Pentacles. This is equal give and take. So what you give is what you get. So you are not settling for breadcrumbs anymore. You're settling for somebody who's giving to you and you're receiving. So it's the art of giving and receiving, giving and receiving. And it's really, really beautiful to be in a partnership where both partners understand what their role is. So I know I am choosing a partner who understands the masculine energy and he's on a self-growth journey. He's taking care of his body every single day. He's wanting to be a great person, parent, sibling, friend to everybody. He's kind to everybody. And so my standards are kind of like, I just want somebody who wants to be better every single day and knows that he can rest and it's okay and we can just be calm and do nothing together and we can have this really quiet and peaceful life and not have to be out there all the time. And I feel like I'm already on my mission doing what I love, and I would love just a partner to come along and not disturb it. If anything, just nurture it. Like, just love me as I'm doing my thing and I'll love him as he's doing his thing. And I don't think he's got to do anything with what I'm doing. He can have his own mission. But if he has a similar mission as me, that'd be cool too. But that's this energy of sitting down and asking yourself, what do I want to receive in this partnership and what do I want to give? What are my boundaries? What are my non-negotiables? And once you figure that out, then you can call it in. Because a lot of you might be hanging on to the wrong partnerships because you haven't fully become more you yet. And you're settling for people that are disturbing your peace because you're thinking that they're the one because they sent you a couple texts that made you feel good, but that's because in childhood, that's all you got. But I'm here to remind you that you need to set a higher standard and demand more. And if somebody is telling you that your standards are too high, that is like huge red flag. And you're looking at that person going, wow, you're not willing to do anything. You don't do anything for yourself. You don't take care of yourself. And you're telling me my standards are too high. Let's remove ourselves from that piece, from that disturbance of our peace, because a real divine masculine will tell you that, yeah, babe, you better have high standards. Keep me to a certain standard as well, because I want to do the work. I want to be better. And that's the kind of partner you want. Somebody who sees your worth and encourages you to go higher, to set higher standards. All right, lovies, I hope you enjoyed this reading. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell, and I'll be back again for our energy reading for next week. We have Memorial Day weekend. Maybe I'll do another reading for the weekend too. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if you liked the Divine Feminine teachings and if I should do videos just on that and make a whole playlist of just Divine Feminine, Divine Masculine teachings. And the chameleon card just slipped out of this and I'm holding it pretty tightly. So I feel like Spirit did that. So remember, it is safe to be seen. You're allowed to be in the partnership that's been in hiding. It's time to break out and to be together. Choose you, choose love. All right, lovies, sending you so much love. Peace out.